Hey, good morning. Today is Monday, May the 20th, 2024, and the time now is 7:07 a.m. So today I am going to begin my Slovak series. Basically, this video can fit within the playlist Slovak or domestic Slovak or Slovakia. I am going to begin this series specifically talking about the situation that happened in Slovakia last Wednesday, which is basically the attempted murder or assassination of the Slovak Prime Minister, Robert Fico, or maybe it is pronounced as Fico, that is by Slovakia, basically in terms of their linguistic uniqueness or distinction. So if you are a Slovak, please feel free to comment. Let me know how the word FICO, okay, is pronounced in your country based on your accent or your linguistic distinction. Okay, but I'm going to interchange, I believe so, basically between Fico or FICO. Now, last week was a very eventful week, okay, especially dealing with the attempted murder or the attempted assassination of Prime Minister Fico. But I'm going to continue here, but I want to bring something into this discussion, into this video, which has nothing to do with the situation that happened in Slovakia last week. However, it shows the fact that this week so far is shaping to be a very eventful week as last week was, and this relates to the crashing of the helicopter that was carrying Iran's president Ibrahim Raisi, and it is said that the the helicopter basically crashed in a mountainous region. So President Raisi basically went to inaugurate a dam, and on his way back, apparently the weather changed and the plane crashed in a very foggy weather. Now, when I basically came across the news or upon the news, couple of questions that I asked myself. One is that yes, the president's plane crash. How many plane was there? And I basically do not like the fact that if it is possible that only one helicopter, I do not like the fact that only one helicopter transporting a person of that sort, especially given what's happening in the Middle East, okay, where countries, let's say for example, Israel and Iran, has been going at each other's throats, okay? There should have been at least multiple helicopter. This basically means that President Raisi being escorted by fighter helicopters or something of the sort for his protection. Because honestly, this to me is shipping to seem or to look like it was an assassination. Okay? Now, assassination doesn't necessarily mean that a foreign agent or a foreign entity did it. It can also mean an internal assassination, as we saw last Wednesday in Slovakia, where the Prime Minister, Robert Fico, okay, or Robert Fico, if you will, was almost assassinated, okay? And perhaps I should take it back and not say almost assassinated, because even though he is said currently to be in a very stable condition, the condition is still serious, and he had gone through about 5 different surgery to stabilize him and to bring him back from the seriousness of his condition, okay, during the end of last week and up till this point. But for the Iran's president, Ibrahim Raisi, it is a sad thing for him and for the country, Iran. Now, whether you like him or not, whether you against him or not, and so far I am seeing lots of crazy, terrible politics, international politics at play here. Okay? Like, for example, in the United States, in Israel, in the West, many could hate President Raisi. Many despise him. However, I do believe there are many within his country, in Iran, who love him dearly and who basically are feeling the pain, feeling the sadness of his loss, okay, or his potential loss. Yes, it is being said that he had died, even though it hasn't been confirmed yet, because the rescue team are still making their way towards the potential site of the crash. But given the region, which is mountainous, which is cold, perhaps it is necessary to say that he had died. And also, it is being alleged that the plane basically experienced a very hard crash, which in that case, it could be very difficult, okay, as a person within the plane to survive. But now, there are a lot of things out there, okay, in terms of international hatred and international politics. Something interesting that happened, which pertains to a United States Senator, Rick Scott of Florida. Yesterday, when I came across the news, I began to do some research and I came across a very long article. I think it's either an Al Jazeera article, and there is a tweet that he sent basically jubilating, okay, about the death of Iran's president, Ibrahim Raisi, stating something about, or something the sort of, he was evil before he came to power and he's evil even in death. I read it, I felt so bad, and something basically came to mind. Basically, it confirmed to me that American politicians, or many of them, are just rude. Okay, some of the things that they do. And to me, it does no justice to the United States. Okay, what it does is basically humiliating the United States. As of this time, when international politics is very tense, when the United States, for whatever going on in Israel or Palestine, or what's going on in Ukraine, or what is being developed to be the next stage, okay? I'm talking about the potential conflict between China and Taiwan. The United States is being blamed for a lot, and it serves justice that in many of these cases, it is blatant that the United States is basically driving these events. For all these, it is very sad, but very unprofessional, okay? Very humiliating on the side of the United States for American politicians to act the way they act or say the things that they do say. I know around 2011, 2012-ish, when Muammar Gaddafi was killed, there are those who would say he was murdered. Hillary Clinton came on record saying things that sort of, we came, we saw, he died. Okay, basically jubilating that Muammar Gaddafi was killed or murdered, however you want to say it. Now, yes, it was in American politics or an American policy to see the assassination of Muammar Gaddafi, to oust him from power. However, I do believe sometimes American politicians just need to be quiet because they say things, they do things, which does nothing but to increase the possibility or the spread or the perception of conspiracy theorists or conspiracy theory, or basically make the United States look bad. This is nothing but warmongering, and it's nothing but a bloodthirsty statement or activity that many American politicians are engaging in. And I do think that the senator of Florida, Rick Scott, was very undisciplined or indisciplined, however you want to say it. He was very cruel. He was very rude and unprofessional. He should not have said such statement. Whatever you like it or not, for a country that is at war with Iran, okay, let's face it, the United States is at war with Iran, even though it is not a hot war. For a country that is often trying to exacerbate some tension within Iran so that some people could go against Iran's government. Such statement is a terrible statement which will bear no fruit. So, many American politicians continue to write checks, okay, by saying or doing things that are just offensive, that the United States as a country, as a people, or as a government cannot cash. For the past few weeks, or let's say 3 months now, since I created or began this channel, The Echoing Voice, I have used the word impulse a lot. So I do believe that American politicians, many of them act, say things, or do things by impulse, and they are not calculating what they are saying, how it could make them look to the rest of the world or to the rest of their country, and how what they are saying or doing could possibly tint the image or the reputations of their country. Okay? And these are people who are doing nothing but tearing apart the United States reputation. So what he did was basically, okay, and I'm talking about Florida's Senator Rick Scott. What he did, the way he tweeted jubilantly, okay, about the death or the plane crash of Iran's president, I do find it to be offensive, cruel, nasty, and stupid. It is and was very, very, very unprofessional. As a very high ranking representative of a country, you do not say those things, even against your enemy. I think what is best is to just be quiet, carefully, silently, and privately celebrate. Do not come in public and start saying things, okay? Because such things that you say could backfire against you or your country. 2 years ago, Lindsey Graham, he came out in public on record basically calling for somebody to take out Vladimir Putin. Okay? He called for a brute in Russia to take out Vladimir Putin. Another activity which was very much offensive, wicked, and unprofessional. An assassination, okay, over 100 years ago started the First World War that basically saw tens of millions of people dying as well as being injured. Countries, government, empires collapsing. For a country like the United States that continues to go through a lot, experiencing lots of internal conflict, whether between or among politicians, as well as the restlessness of the people, okay? A country that is seeing continuously tension among its people and tension between the government and the people. Officials of US government should watch what they do and what they say. But on that note, I will end, but once again, it is not good seeing the death of a leader. The death of a leader can lead to internal crisis. For a country like Iran, 88 million people, it is a large country, a country of a very sophisticated among many countries, okay? And I'm talking about its military industrial complex, a country that is currently at war. That country, seeing the death of its president, is not a good thing for the region and for the rest of the world. So, once again, I am going to end here. But now, back to the situation in Slovakia. And I do apologize for deviating significantly. This program is supposed to be, or it is, solely about the situation in Slovakia. But I basically deviated because I wanted to highlight a current event that is happening. Now, it is very interesting that last Wednesday, we saw as a global community the attempted assassination of a world leader. And basically, rightly so, many countries and leaders around the world, government around the world, basically have come out and denounced the act. As much as basically countries around the world, and I do believe even Slovakia, I do believe, I have not heard it, may have offered a condolences to Iran. So I just want to put that. But countries around the world, basically, and government have made statements, okay, about the plane crash that basically killed Iran's president, Ibrahim Raisi. But let me go back again to Slovakia. So many countries around the world, many governments, leaders, even the Pope basically issued a statement, a condemnation of this attempted murder or assassination of Robert Fico or Robert Fico, however it is pronounced. It is very interesting that couple of things. The gunman is said to be a 71-year-old poet. So this guy is he is an old man. What are you doing going out, carrying out an assassination campaign against a president, a leader of your country? So this basically is suspicious. It is very suspicious. But one thing that is being said is that there's a potential that the gunman did not act alone. He is not a lone wolf. So several sources have hinted to that the gunman, the shooter who attempted to assassinate Slovakia's prime minister Robert Fico, was not acting alone. And it is also said that he is basically he hailed from a very radical perspective or position, and that in Slovakia the politics so far is very tinted, is very harsh, okay, very extreme in terms of parties and individuals going against one another or going after one another, and the media after the attempted murder or the attempted assassination is being pointed at to be one of those entities that basically inflame the situation that led to Prime Minister Fico being Prime Minister Fico almost being assassinated. So Slovakia is a country that is very small, about 4.5 million people. Yes, like any other country. What are we talking about? The United Kingdom, France, Germany, the United States, even Liberia. All countries do have some level of intenseness or extremism in terms of their domestic politics, and Slovakia is not alone. Okay, in this case, you have a 59-year-old politician who is said to be serving currently, okay, his fourth term, and he is not a novice politician. Okay, he's a veteran. He's been there for about 2 decades now. 59 years old, and that he's a centrist populist, but a divisive figure. But I learned something, okay? Oh, I want to stress something here. the which basically pertains to the idea that uh, he is one of the leaders in Europe. Okay, in addition to what is it, Viktor Orban of Hungary, who basically recently has been criticizing the war in Ukraine, basically halting military support in Ukraine and calling for the end of the war. So, so if this attempted assassination, if the shooter is not acting alone, okay? If this is politically driven, I'm not saying that entities in Ukraine play part in this attempted assassination, but there could also be a possibility that entities in Europe, okay, or even in other Western countries could know about this, because him being someone that is, as he is being accused, to be a pro Putinite or a pro Russian slash Putin supporter, and him also being somebody who is criticizing Ukraine and calling for the halt of military support, or basically halting military support to Ukraine. Given all these, it does serve justice to look into the attempted assassination as an international act. Okay, as much as it is being said that the shooter did not act alone, also the possibility that even though the shooter may not have acted alone, that there could be entities within Slovakia that basically share perspective, okay, or perceptions, or belief system, okay, or ideology with the shooter, who basically are part of his clique, his group, or may not know anything about this, but could have plotted something of the sort, should be considered as well. But something that is very interesting that I learned through my research and looking at one of the article, it is said that after 2 hours after the attack and after the suspect was detained, his Facebook and communication history was deleted. So if that's the case, then it does make sense that this was not an isolated event, that this shooter was not a lone wolf. Because whoever went out there to delete his communication history and his Facebook account knows something about this. So in this case, it is possible that he is part of some group or some organization or some entity that carried this act. This guy basically is said to be a divisive figure. So, being a divisive figure in his own country perhaps does justify the notion that this assassination attempt has no international connection. So I must stress that. But I'm going to continue, and I want to talk briefly about what I noticed in terms of the security details. So the Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico was basically shot last Wednesday. But a couple of questions I want to ask. Is this going to be a pandemic, or is Slovakia going to be a lone wolf? Basically, what I'm asking here, this attempted assassination or murder of a prime minister, a head of state, given what is happening in the world today, okay, the destabilization throughout the world and the heated, okay, political tension all over the world, is this act that a 71-year-old man carried out to assassinate a prime minister, a head of state? Is it going to be a pandemic, meaning that the entire world, places all over the world, could see the assassination or attempted assassination of their leaders, or this is going to start and end in Slovakia? I just want to pose this question. Please tell me what you think. Now, in terms of the situation in Slovakia, and I'm talking about the attempted assassination, when I watched the videos, couple of things that came to mind. One, you have the special agent, okay, or the secret service, if you will, in terms of how they are called in Slovakia or what they do in Slovakia. Okay, they basically were in their black, okay, suit. They look professional. They look tense. They look like they were ready to carry out their functions. In fact, after the shooting, you have the police and others basically detaining the shooter. But the Secret Service or the agents basically did their job by basically covering the prime minister and escorting him with speed to his to the car or the limo, and then they sped away. So they did their job. But when I analyzed the video, couple of things that stood out. One, yes, it is said that the Slovak prime minister had attended a government meeting in a town, and then after the meeting, he was shaking hand. In this case, it happens anywhere around the world. Okay? So in this case, he was vulnerable. However, despite the fact that him being in a small town and shaking hands with people after a government meeting, making him vulnerable, the security details seem very loose to me. It doesn't seem that there were enough police officers on the ground being escorting the man and basically being in the crowd as he shake hand and making sure everything is okay. It doesn't seem that there were military personnel, okay, or personnels, whether they were in color clothes or in their full military gear, their uniform. I do not see none of that. Perhaps I'm late because that part of the video was cut out or wasn't shared with the rest of the world. But the security seems very loose. And those who were apprehending or detaining the suspect, it doesn't seem that a head of state had been shot. Everything seemed very common. There was a police officer in the video that kept moving back and forth. He doesn't seem to be in a hurry. Another thing that I find to be very interesting is the fact that there was an old lady, or there is an old lady, if you will, in the video that kept moving back and forth. And there are people who are standing right there, okay, just looking at the gunman as he being apprehended. On the other side, there were people on their cell phone basically recording. Yes, it does happen, given the time that we live in. But those people who were standing right by the police officers or the security as they were apprehending the gunman should not have been there. And there wasn't any rush. There seemed to not be any hurry, okay? Any seriousness. And perhaps I'm being harsh. Perhaps I am reading into the video, reading into the actions or the activities of people wrongly. But given the fact that the situation supposed to be a serious situation, given the figure or the person whose life was endangered, okay, a head of state, your highest ranking political member, I do not see any rush, any hurry in the video to secure things. And I know perhaps in the future, the Slovak military or security system are going to go all out and beefing up security for their political figures to protect them. I know in one of the articles I looked at, actually, basically, the prime minister stressed, and I'm looking at it right now. This is very interesting, given that he said that a month ago, and now it happened to him. Okay, I'm going to read this again. Fico said last month on Facebook that he believed the rising tensions in the country could lead to the killing of politicians, and he blamed the media for fueling tensions. With this being the case, I don't know what is happening in the country, okay? But multiple sources are saying that the tension is tense in Slovakia. But I do believe in the future, given this, we could begin to see in that country the security apparatus being beefed up to protect public officials, especially those of higher ranks. But anyway, yeah, that's my take to it. I felt very surprised watching the video because it doesn't seem okay on the part of the police and the other security details in the area. There seemed to be no hurry, no rush, no blitz in terms of trying to alleviate the situation, trying to get those who were not supposed to be there out of the way. Like the old lady who was just there, okay, in the midst of them trying to apprehend the suspect, and those people who were recording. The thing here is, as much as it is being stressed now that there is a possibility that the gunman did not act alone, let's assume that is the case. Then we should also acknowledge the possibility that if he did not act alone, people in the area, many of them could have been other shooters. So I do believe they should have, okay, the security details, the police should have immediately done two things. One, contain the area, making sure nobody go out and nobody come in. But also block those in the area from accessing the immediate spot of the crime where the gunman was being apprehended, and also where the prime minister's vehicle and security details were, as much as they were trying to put him into his car and take him away. I do believe that should have happened. But again, to be fair, stuff like this has not happened, it is said, for over 20 years, that Europe has not seen the assassination or attempted assassination of a political leader. So, given all that, and given the fact that the setting was a town, a small town, if you will, and the population is not that much, and the confidence basically between the people and their government, perhaps that was the reason for the relax in the security details in terms of the presence of police or military personnel. So I just want to stress that. However, I am going to end here. Thank you very much for watching The Echoing Voice. But please, give me a feedback. Let me know what you think. Let me know what I'm missing. Let me know what I said wrong and what I can correct. But I want you to know that whatever I said, I did not mean to be offensive or disrespectful to the good country, the great country and people of Slovakia. Once again, thank you very much for watching The Echoing Voice. Peace.